Mapping of provisioning profile to Infinistream. When we make changes in the provisioning profile from IngeniousOne, that change that we apply in that view ultimately gets carried out by the Infinistream. Now, we just went over all the options in the agent configuration utility. We have also gone through the provisioning profile during our IngeniousOne training. So it may be nice, or actually it's important to identify which among those local console settings do provisioning profile touches. It's good to know where those checkboxes and drop-downs map to local console, because when something does not seem to work or something that we are expecting to see and it's not showing up as what we are expecting, we need to be able to verify whether such change in the provisioning profile is actually getting realized in the local console. Here are the options that we see in the provisioning profile. First, we have the monitor, voice, and video quality. This is easy to identify which Infinistream setting it maps to, because the description is almost the same for the provisioning profile and the Infinistream settings. So this maps to the voice and video quality menu item 15 under protocol options. So this toggled the flag to check or uncheck in the provisioning profile and on and off on the local console respectively. The next one is the monitor change management. This is not easy to figure out where it maps to, because the description does not really match with the local console settings. Anyway, when this is checked, this enables 1 minute granularity to be collected in the probe. So this falls under the ASI settings in the local console, as you can see on the get ASI output, and as you can see on the screen as well. The provisioning profile toggles 1 minute flag from off to on, or vice versa. By the way, who would have thought that the change management is 1 minute logging, right? Well, that's the reason why we have this mapping diagram, to allow us to know where it actually maps to. For the deduplication in the provisioning profile, this setting maps to the get span duplicate in the local console. As you notice, the drop down on how we would classify the duplicate maps directly to the options in the span duplicate command. So the CRC, the IP header, and other columns matches the list in the drop down. The generic column in the span duplicate maps to the custom selection in the profile. The next one is the report all client IPs. This is a very important setting, especially when you have OCI, Omni Cyber Intelligence. It's actually a requirement in OCI to have this enabled. This setting maps to the KSI client IP setting in the get ASI command. What this does is it enables the client or host IP logging in KSI table instead of conversation and host table. So normally KSI, which is the key server indicator dataset, contains client communities, which is a data in aggregated form. Enabling this allows client IP addresses or host IP client to be logged in the KSI table. So instead of communities, it's actually going to be logging actual client IP or host IP addresses, right? So hence the data is more granular. It's not in a aggregated form. So this impacts how the host analysis monitor view is presented in the IngeniousOne. So instead of using host table, it's going to be using the KSI dataset. What's the difference on how it's presented in the UI? So you will see here on the screenshot, on the left-hand side, we have the report all clients IP on. You will notice that the host A, host B, and application they are in single column. And in that column, you can expand or collapse the elements. You can also see here that we are filtering on this particular IP address, and then it will show all the hosts that's conversing with that IP. Along with that, it will show the application that being used by that particular IP pair. On the other hand, on the report all client IPs being disabled, you will see this particular view. So you will see the application, client, and server name. They are in a separate column, right? So that's how you will actually distinguish the two. But on the back end, the right-hand side right here, where it is disabled, it's actually getting its data from conversation and host. And as you will see here, the metrics that's being reported, there are volume or throughput metrics. The KSI is richer in terms of the metrics that it reports on. So you will see here, you have, a lot of KSI metrics or server specific metrics, client connect time, server connect, and all those things. Having the all clients on gives you a far richer information. So I do have one here, a setup where I can show you the difference between the two as well. So here I launch Traffic Monitor. This interface 3 right here is actually enabled for report all client IP, and the interface 4 is the one that's disabled. Let's open up the interface 3 first, where that is enabled, and let me filter on one host, and then I will launch the host analysis monitor view, and then you will see here that my host A, host B application are in single column, and you will see here that I'm filtering on this particular host. And if I expand it, you will see the all other hosts that are conversing to this host that I selected. And if I expand some more, you will see here the application that's being used by that IP pair, right? So you can select here another one, and you will see I have 3 applications being used by these 2 IP pair as well. The other one, you will see, let me open it up, Traffic Monitor, and then instead of interface 3, I'll open up interface 4, and then I'll select host tab, and I'll select the same host, and you will see here under host analysis view how it looks like. So you will see here mostly they are volume metric or throughput metric information here, and also the application, client name, and server name are in 3 separate columns. So that is the difference between the two. Let me set this aside, and then let's go to the next one. Lastly, we have the location keys in the provisioning profile. So this maps directly to the change VIFN mode, virtual interface mode, in the Infinistream local console. We talked about this setting, VIFN mode, quite a bit previously, so we're not gonna elaborate anymore. But this option in the location key dropdown depends on the business type set on IngeniousOne. So if it's service provider, you'll see mobile links here in the list. Otherwise, if it's set to enterprise, you'll have the usual location keys like VLAN, site, VXLAN, QoS. In this particular case, we are setting it up as VLAN, site, QoS. So that is for the location keys. So just a friendly reminder also, whenever you make change in the provisioning profile and assigning the profile to one or more Infinistreams, after you hit OK to apply, it automatically restarts the agent processes to effect the change. You have to let the customer know that restart causes loss of data. It, of course, collects data again after the agent completed the reset, all right? So that's it for mapping of provisioning profile to Infinistream.